Now, the fact that CRFM is headquartered in Belize, what does that say in terms of the positioning, not only of Belize, but in terms of some of the policies and practices that we have here, and where fisheries in general are going, is going, or it's heading in terms of the rest of the Caribbean and the countries there?
Well, okay. I mean, Belize is really a leader in fisheries in the region. Belize, I'm very pleased to say, is taking the resource very seriously, taking the industry seriously. It's taking the marine ecosystem, because when we're talking about fisheries these days, we're not talking just about the stocks. We have to look at the entire ecosystems. And Belize has made tremendous progress and strides in protecting its marine ecosystem, protecting its coral reef, protecting its fisheries. And so Belize play a leading role in CARICOM in progressing the development and sustainable use of our fisheries. The fact that we are here is actually testament to the commitment of the government of Belize to the fisheries sector and the importance that they attach to it. I think Belize lobbied for the location of the regional fisheries mechanism to be located here. First, through the regional project, which you may remember, the CFRAM project that was supported, a $20 million project that was supported by the government of Canada, and that was implemented from 1992 to 2002. When that ended, the government established the CRFM as a regional organization to continue the collaboration. And Belize was instrumental in the establishment of the CRFM and its location here because of the importance that they attach to the fisheries sector and the recognition that Belize occupies a unique geopolitical space, being both a Central American country and a CARICOM country, and Belize forms a natural link between the two sub-regions. So it wasn't accidental that in 2012, Belize was instrumental in bringing together the fisheries ministers of the Central American countries and the fisheries ministers from the CARICOM countries to develop a joint program of collaboration. And we are in the process of implementing that joint CRFM or SPESCA agreement on fisheries.
Now, obviously, the main reason for you coming was to talk about the policy, but we haven't gotten to exactly where are we in terms of developing this common policy.
Well, William, after many years of relentless and sometimes difficult negotiations, in 2011, the ministers responsible for fisheries unanimously signed off on the common fisheries policy. The common fisheries policy has been developed not just as a normal policy, not just in the way we normally develop policy, but it is actually being done as a binding legal treaty, which makes it a little more complex. But we have made tremendous progress. So the ministers signed off on it in 2011. They quoted, which is the Council for Trade and Economic Development, which is one of the highest policy-making bodies in the CARICOM structure. They signed off on it at the end of 2011. Now, because it's been developed as a treaty, a binding legal treaty, and will become binding law in the region, it needs to be signed off by the heads of states, heads of government. And for that, before that can be done, the Attorneys General, meeting as the CARICOM Legal Affairs Committee, needed to review it and to pronounce on it and to say, yes, it is acceptable, or to suggest whatever changes, modifications may be needed. Now, the Legal Affairs Committee signed off on it in November of last year. So it's slowly making its way through the system. And it was opened for signature a few months ago in March of this year. A couple of countries have already indicated that they are ready to sign.
And those countries are?
Those countries are Suriname and Barbados. Okay. And I expect several others to pronounce that they are ready to sign. Now, before they sign, because it's a treaty, countries need to consult in cabinet and get a cabinet decision. Yes. And so they are at this point in the process of doing that. So it unfortunately, is at its final stages now. And we're hoping, we're keeping our fingers crossed that in the coming months, the Common Fisheries Policy will finally be signed and entered into law.
Now, what would be, or is there any significant shift that will come about after the Common Fisheries Policy is ratified?
Well, the shift is going to be slow. I think it's going to be a gradual development. But the legal landscape will change tremendously. I think for the first time, we will have a clear roadmap taking us from where we are to where we want to be. We have a clear vision. We have a clear objectives of what we want to achieve. The Common Fisheries Policy is a comprehensive document. It comprises 28 articles, and it brings together international best practices in one coherent, comprehensive instrument that sets a roadmap addressing all the different issues and challenges that we need to deal with. We mentioned data collection, research, supporting trade and marketing and conservation and resource management, dealing with illegal, unregulated fishing by domestic fishers as well as by international fishing fleet. So it is comprehensive, and it looks at aquaculture, not only capture fisheries. It looks at the ecosystems, the marine environment, climate change, all these things, disaster risk management, welfare of the fishers, and so on. So it is a comprehensive instrument, and for the very first time brings together in one comprehensive document all the different things that we need to do. It is a framework agreement, however, and a lot more work will be needed to flesh out the detailed rules in some areas. We will need additional capacity, we will need additional resources, but I tell you what, the very first thing that we need to do is to determine where we want to go, what we want to achieve, and once we have done that, we are now in a better position to mobilize resources and to direct and marshal our resources and our energies, achieving these in a very organized and a very systematic manner.